So today we're going to revisit somebody that I covered. Maybe I haven't posted a video about her in like a year, maybe. But I came across the video, and then that made me look at a few more videos. And it appears that she is now trying to reinvent herself. Girl, we're all still here. You know that, right? The ones that were there when everything about you was exposed and you continued to deny, we're all still here, okay? So I don't know what you think you're doing, but you should probably lead with accountability.
Absolutely warranted, but I helped you and coached you through all of these apps. I'm the one bitch you can't say is a fucking clout goblin because I've never done this for clicks and money and views.
That's always been your goal, right? Misleading your audience, building an entire platform, being a fraud. I remember the disclaimer in your videos. These are my stories. We debunked that they were not indeed your stories. You were quite literally telling prison stories that were somebody else's in order to gain a platform. And you've never, ever been honest about it.
There's a difference between chasing a check and attracting a genuine audience and a genuine relationship with that audience.
How do you plan on having a genuine relationship with your audience if you're not being honest? Serious question. Because people that are your audience, that they relate to you because of the stories that you've told, none of which are yours. You don't feel bad for that? You don't feel bad for the parasocial relationships that you have with people and they think that you're a completely different person?
I have always attracted it, so of course money has come my way because I'm passionate and I give a shit. I don't flip-flop on issues. I don't fucking confuse my audience.
No, you just fucking lie to them and gaslight them. You think that's better? Just for context, in this video, she's referring to JD DeLay, who was a friend of hers, and now they're not. But Jessica, you don't see it?
If I make a mistake, I don't double down and call other people fucking bitches. I'm like, oh damn, maybe I fucked up there.
Can you point me in the direction of where you've done that? Regarding the things that you were called out on, such as your prison time, your recovery, right? Lying and running smear campaigns on people on the internet because they had truths to tell about you. Can you point me in that direction? Because I really love to see. I'd also love to see your New York paperwork because you were supposed to get it like 2 years ago and it's still never been shown. For anybody that's new here, Jessica Kemp playlist, pretty eye-opening.
I don't expect you to get it right all the time, but I expect you to not talk like a fucking asshole and claim to be an advocate.
Well, we expect you to be what you say you are, which is transparent and authentic, right? Those are your words. Transparency, authenticity, and you're anything but. So I find it super weird. Do you think that JD ever felt this way when he was seeing people call you out for your behavior and how you would just gray rock it? Do you think that he felt that way? And he didn't come to the internet and fucking blast it. He didn't come to the internet and say none of your stories match up. You're a whole fucking fraud. He didn't do that. But here you are doing it to him. Tell me it's not for clicks, likes, and views. Go ahead.
As an advocate and an activist, I'm passionate and pissed that this is what we're doing.
None of us get it right all the time. Every single time. None of us do that. We're human beings. We're supposed to make mistakes, but it's what we do after that mistake that dictates who we are as a person. And you continued to double down. You continued to deny. You continued to lie for years. But now you want to call somebody else out. And you don't think that people are like, ugh. You don't see that?
Fan. See, when he first started, I was all about supporting him and coaching him and, oh, it's me being a fan, wearing his merch, buying his merch, all that. Maybe he gave that to me for free, I don't fucking know. This is someone sending me this piece of shit video. This is me replying, cults do that to people. Someone sending me the zero proof of this screenshot. Nah. This is me interviewing him for my channel 2 years ago. Videos that we did 2 years ago. Yeah, see, I was a fan, a really fucking big one.
I agree. We should be friends, fans. I agree. But did you tell him that you did 5 years in prison? I bet you did. I bet you did. I bet that he believed that all of the content that you had posted was your stories. Did you try to talk to him about this stuff privately before you put it on the internet? Probably not, right? So it's strange to me that this is the road you're taking, because I'm sure that many people felt this way about you, that were in your inner circle. There was no way to avoid the inconsistencies in the stories that you told. But it's different when you feel some kind of way.
The thing is, I'm a huge fan when it comes to all of my friends. I will coach you and support you and lift you up. I will also hold you accountable, even if you're my friend, especially if you're my friend and you're saying things that are very disrespectful and very wrong or misleading or harmful or racist or misogynistic, or if you're trying to gaslight the entire internet about your alligator Auschwitz bullshit.
I agree. You should hold your friends accountable. But the friends that tried to hold you accountable for your shit, what did you do to them? The friends that knew that you were actively using, right? What did you do to them? Crickets. You forget that? You forget that your friends, your ex, your current husband, girl, everybody was talking. I even got one of your fucking, who's Brooklyn, Jess? One of your cellmates are in my comments. They told me to mention that. I just haven't talked about you in a while, so I figured I'd take this opportunity. So who's Brooklyn?
I made like 4 videos calling him out. That's not the point. When you are an advocate in this space and you're making public content that is very harmful, I have every right in the world to call you out, and I expect that same energy right back to me. I don't expect him to get it all right, just like I will never get it all right. But we do.
So do you think that people felt some kind of way when you were against MAT medication? Do you think that people felt some kind of way as you clearly were struggling with your recovery, but you still opened every video with, "Hi, my name's Jess and I'm a person in long-term recovery"? Do you think that the people that told truths about you, that you lied about on that platform, slandered before they could drop the truth about you, how do you think they felt though? That's strange. That's really strange. You could do it to everybody, but God forbid people do it to you. Then they're haters, right?
Something fucked up, I'm gonna call it out.
So does that make you a hater? Because we've been calling you out for your fucked up behavior, and we were called haters. No, we just expect you to be who you are. And there is too much proof, Jessica. There are too many things that point to you being a whole fraud. But you don't think you owe apologies to people that were your supporters?
Cuffed and chained to a bed while I gave birth to my daughter in prison.
In 2012, right? This is one of your bigger lies, by the way. 2012, you gave birth, chained to a bed in 2012, correct?
And so often people try to discredit that experience and say, oh, no, they can't shackle pregnant women anymore. I gave birth to my daughter in 2012.
Right, 2012. I encourage everybody to read the landmark case out of Arkansas, actually the same prison that Jessica was actually in, regarding Shauna. There was an entire movement called Unshackling Shauna. Let's talk about it. Here's the AI overview, okay? This case went on for years, okay? However, the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals ruled in 2009 a case involving an Arkansas woman that shackling a woman to prison during labor and delivery is a clear security justification. This landmark ruling established the principle that such treatment is unconstitutional. The order issued in 2009 was the first time a federal appeals court definitively established that in the absence of a clear security justification, shackling a woman prisoner during labor and delivery constitutes cruel and unusual punishment under the 8th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. This legal victory was crucial to end this practice. That's weird. Imagine that. Y'all, this is a well-documented case. A well-documented case that went on for 4 or 5 years. There is a ton of research. where you could see that this was not being practiced in 2012. I don't know why somebody would try to lie about something so easily found and then try to gaslight the entire internet that people are not seeing what they're seeing. Now, they voluntarily, the feds voluntarily reformed their practices, okay? This is my favorite part, okay? Partly as a consequence of Nelson, who was Shauna's name, Arkansas has started using softer and more flexible nylon restraints for prisoners deemed to be security risks, which, Jessica, you were not. You were a trustee, model prisoner, no SEG time, etc. Okay? They are removed during the actual delivery. This case is well documented, y'all. It was this is the case that would be cited in case law. So people say that with reason. They say it with reason. If you gave birth in 2012, but Arkansas outlawed it, it was ruled unconstitutional in 2009, and they switched their practice to using nylon restraints. How the fuck were you giving birth chained to a bed in 2012? You're not a violent criminal. The stories that you told on the internet are not factual. If anybody does not and has not seen those documents, I have them, and you could contact me. Everything is a lie.
Federally, you're not allowed to chain pregnant women to the bed. And a lot of these policies that were written, they were written with the idea of men in mind. They were not written, thinking that a woman would give birth in prison, and then what happened? The prison population on the female side skyrocketed, right?
But what in the gaslighting fuck is that? People are telling you that Arkansas deemed it unconstitutional in 2009, and you just try to...
Right? Maybe it's not a good idea to chain a pregnant woman in labor to the bed. Maybe it's not a good idea to chain her up for 2 days in bed. That's what happened to me. First of all, how are you going to tell me what I did or did not experience? That is my birth story. You were not there.
So if that happened to you in 2012, and it was ruled unconstitutional at that location, same prison, right? A couple of years before, why did you not sue? Why did you not sue them if that happened to you? Because if I was in that situation, I would have sued the shit out of them. Because there was case law to support that shouldn't have happened. So why didn't you do that? Never mind the fact that they say nylon restraints started being used while Shauna's case was happening. Arkansas started using nylon restraints instead of chains. Just some questions. I don't think that anybody is it's the fact that you're right. We will never know because of HIPAA, which I'm sure you know. Because everything else we found out. You didn't admit to those lies either. So why would you admit to this one? This is a big one. You went viral for that story. You've repeated it in interviews. That gave you the discoverability. Unfortunately for you, you ruined it for yourself with your lies.
I don't care that you read a Google article saying that they can no longer shackle pregnant women. That's great, but that was at the federal level.
Ma'am, you're talking about one of the most documented cases I've ever seen. It's not a Google article. You realize that people are smart enough to put these pieces together. It wasn't just a Google article. It was a landmark case that changed protocol. Okay? So you could try to fucking Darvo your way out of this, gaslight the shit out of the internet, but I promise you, you're fucking lying.
When I was giving birth to my daughter, my handcuff was chained to the bed. I had one handcuff, wrist, bed. And then after I gave birth, one of my legs was chained to the bed. I had to ask to get up to go to the bathroom. The guards would not let me walk around the hospital room so that I could heal properly. And I didn't heal properly. It was fucking excruciating. And then I had a mental break when I got back to the prison, and I was kept in the infirmary for 2 weeks because I just snapped. It was just...
I'm going to go back and look at the documents to see if that was facts, because I only remember you going out for medical and then returning. I didn't see anything about an infirmary. But there was nothing about SEG time. What was it, 15 days in SEG? Yeah, that's weird. It's weird. Listen, I don't believe in that many coincidences, Jessica. I just don't. There are too many. There's too much proof there to it not be. You're just a whole fucking fraud and you cannot admit it. Yet you want to sit on your platform and call other people out when you got all this shit that you've never answered for? Okay. You don't realize that's how ridiculous that is? And then you think you're going to come back to YouTube and call out JD Delight. What about your shit, ma'am? This is what people get fucked up. You can't be out here calling other people out when your side of the street is dirty. You got to make sure your shit is right before you can worry about other people.
I had 9 months to prepare. And I knew it was going to happen. I saw other women go through it and come back to the prison after they have their babies, and they seemed okay. And that was my first real experience with, hey, we all handle trauma differently. And
we sure do. We sure do. Some of us deal with it, and some of us just lie and ignore it.
But what I will not tolerate is people coming to the internet and telling me that I did not experience that, because I know that I did. I know that I was in the hospital for 2 days, and I know that I was chained to the bed for 2 days. And while I was giving birth, while I was in labor, my wrist was chained to the bed. What you're not going to find is officers saying, hey, we chained Kent up. That's not going to be in paperwork. That's prison policy. If you go to an outside hospital or an outside facility and you're an inmate, you're going to be in handcuffs and shackles. That's prison policy. So they're not going to write that up. They're going to say, oh, Jessica Kent left, or she wasn't present for count, came back to count, wasn't here for count because of medical. That's all you'll see is their records of where I am. You're not going to see what they're actually doing.
Yeah. Sounds like a good excuse for why there's no paperwork on you except real grievances, you know. I find it very hard to believe that there was that big a case. That policy was deemed unconstitutional, and they just did it to Jessica Kent in 2012. I find that really fucking hard to believe.
Just like when I was pepper sprayed and then not decontaminated. It is their policy that if you're pepper sprayed, they have to take you to medical and like rinse out your freaking eyes. A lot of the times the COs will just throw you in solitary confinement. Do you think for 1 second that they're going to write up in the report, yeah, I had to pepper spray Kent, but I didn't decontaminate her and I threw her in a solitary confinement cell where medical needs were not met?
Girl. Listen to me. First of all, you said you elbowed a guard. That is why pepper spray was deployed. And then you went to solitary. There would have been documented SEG time on your inmate record. 100%. You're a liar. You're a liar. Nobody's talking about the pepper spray or the not being treated for medical. Your SEG time, 15 days. That's what people say. So nice way for you to twist it in order to regurgitate it on the internet, praying that new people are going to believe you, because that is not factual. That is not factual. You got time in SEG for noise or something like that. I will pull it up. If you're new here, there is a Jessica Kent playlist on my channel. That's pretty informative, okay? Your documents were aired out years ago. Did you think that we just forgot? Did you, what did you think? You think that you banned the subreddit and we all just went, poof, no, bitch, we're still fucking here. And we remember. You're a liar. So no, nobody's talking about medical. Nobody was talking about medical. We're talking about the fact that you said you elbowed a guard physically. You physically assaulted a guard, which you would have caught a charge for. Then pepper spray. You got pepper sprayed, right? And then you got thrown in SEG. There would have been documentation about you putting your hands on a guard 100%, okay? There would have been documentation about the SEG time that you experienced after said altercation. You are a fucking fraud. You're a liar.
No. So the paperwork doesn't match the experience 99.999% of the fucking time, because COs are not going to write up the actual policy they followed or the policies that they ignored. That's not how prison paperwork works.
That's not how prison paperwork works. If you assault a guard, Jessica, there would be paperwork. 100%. If you spent time in SEG, there would be paperwork. 100%. So it's so strange to me how you have all of this stuff that couldn't have happened the way you said it did. But you just ignore it and keep lying. And it's truly, it is fascinating to me to watch. And you still don't realize that the damage to your platform was caused because of the lies. People would have forgiven you if you were truthful and honest and took proper accountability. You would still have a shit ton of supporters. but your way, your lies, your deceit. That is why things have changed for you on these apps.
All right, team. So what do we have as far as ways to torture Jessica Kent?
This kind of shit always blows my mind. What do we have as ways to torture Jessica Kent? People just want you to be honest. It's a foreign concept. People just want you to be accountable and truthful and be the person that you've been telling these apps for how many fucking years that you are. That's it. People want you to just tell the truth because there is so much proof. But this is funny. You're making this video talking about people that exposed your bullshit. But then if they come back, they're the problem? Ma'am, you not being honest has always been the problem.
Today, as you know, she has recently moved out of Chicago and she is trying to keep her home address private to like protect her kids or whatever. So what do you think we should do first? Find the address and dox her. Yes.
I haven't been involved in your shit for a minute, but I didn't see anybody dox you. I haven't seen your new address ever. So I don't know that that's true. Oh, the large percentage of us just want you to be fucking honest. We think that your supporters deserve the truth because you've just lied to them. Built your entire platform on lies. Jessica, the truth is always going to come out. And you would think by now that you would know that. You're not new to this. But you think that if you just stonewall and lie and deflect and point the finger, that people aren't going to notice. And I promise you, that's not the way it goes.
Ooh, I know. So her ex did respond to me one time after I emailed him 11 times. So in between me trying to get kickbacks and get people on Matt, what I could do is I could just keep sending all of her videos to him so that he is up to date on everything she's doing. And then I could go live all day. I have all the time in the world for y'all. So I will be on live for like 9 hours straight and I'll continue to let the world know that she's lying about DV even though we know that she's not. Ooh, and then I could, because I'm in Arkansas, I could get her case file and then I could just tell everyone that she was a CI.
All these years later and you never looked into the green paper rule? Arkansas's green paper rule? You proved that you were the CI when you posted that fucking document. You did that. Your New York paperwork proves that you snitched out Randy, right? We know that you snitched on Jason. You came to the internet and smeared Reese. How is it possible that every single man that you've been with is abusive? And you'd be surprised, Jessica. People don't have to reach out to them. They come to us. They want people to have the proof that you are not who you say you are. It happens every time. Every single time. You don't want to talk about that though, right? Can you explain Arkansas's green paper rule? I would really love to hear your response. Because when you put that paperwork in that episode, you proved that you were the CI. Just so everybody understands.
So I'll just continue to like moderate with this Reddit page, and then I'm gonna reach out to Kase, right, because he's in prison, and get like all of the tea. So I'll just read those letters on my YouTube channel because it's not getting any traction, and maybe if I use her name, I'll like go viral. I mean, what's right is right, and we need to continue to call her out because she's a liar and a fraud.
This is weird that you're sitting there and mocking that guy. That you told the fucking internet was stalking you. Did you forget that? You know that we remember, Jessica. You're mocking him. All he did was fucking defend himself to the lies that you told your platform. Remember? He was stalking you. You don't remember that? Because we fucking remember that. And here it is, right? I'm going to continue to call her out because right is right and wrong is wrong. Yet you don't get it. Yet you sit on your platform and you fucking mock them, right?
So at my job, I actually have access to Lexus Nexus. So if she ever gets a bill in her name, I'll figure it out and then I'll tell y'all and then you guys can just leak it everywhere.
Yeah, I never saw that on either. So what are you talking about? People want you to be held accountable for the lies that you've told the internet. That's it. And it always blows my mind that people like you don't get it. That by doubling down and denying and continuing to lie and fucking pointing the finger at other people, you're the reason that it gets harder for you. Because if you were just honest, you wouldn't be there. You understand? People like you, they never fucking understand. The double down is always where the problem is. Had you fucking acknowledged it, all your lies, all your fucking dishonest behavior, People would have let it go long ago. You chose to double down. You chose to attempt to save your reputation instead of being honest, and your reputation got destroyed anyway, because I promise you, we're all still here. I know that you're a fraud. I know. I can prove it. So you could continue to sit on your platform and point the finger at the people that did call you out, but that just shows your fucking character. What happens, so when I'm wrong, I just own it? Bitch, you have never owned it. Ever. You have never once addressed honestly anything that has been put out about you.
So I'm gonna release like a little documentary. Oh shit. So I could release like a little documentary, and I can get all the paperwork and like pull FOIA and then like totally botch understanding her paperwork, and I can also like harass every single person in New York State until someone finally gives me her juvenile record, even though I'm not entitled to it.
The fucking audacity of you to sit there and say that we're the ones that don't understand paperwork is wild. It's wild. I will post all that shit unedited. You're a fucking liar. How dare you sit there and talk about other people not being able to read paperwork when you're just a fucking liar? So another coincidence that it was in your arrest narrative that you told the officer you were pregnant, but you found out while you were incarcerated, didn't you? It's just something else. Nobody, your New York record, Jessica, you was supposed to get when people called you out for your inconsistencies with your time. You hid under the Juvenile Offender Act. You can access those documents. I posted a recorded call a year and a half ago proving it. Why haven't you done it yet? Why haven't you done it yet? It would shut everybody up and say, well, she did serve more than 357 days, but you haven't done it. Why not? Why not? I know why.
Ooh, and then this, here's the kicker. Ready? I'm gonna get her yearbook and then reach out to everyone that she like went to middle school with, so that they can like say that like Jessica Kent really was popular and she wasn't bullied.
It truly blows my mind that people in your position, you never get it. You never get it. People reach out to us. We don't have to reach out to other people. We don't. They come to us. Also, you grew up in the town that my boarding school was in. So, small world, you know? You never know who's gonna know who, if you will. I find it strange that everybody else is always the problem, but not you. Not you. I find it strange that you're talking about JD Delay using insensitive. What about what you've done? What about your triggering behavior to your supporters? What about your lies and blatant fucking disrespect of their allegiance? What about that? You don't want to talk about that either. It's weird. It's weird to me. Everybody that comes into contact with you says the same thing. Except, you know, maybe the two that straggle along and just buy your bullshit hook, line, and sinker, act like an attack dog. But it's weird. It's strange to me that Berna just called you out saying you don't do any outreach. I believe him. I believe him in that regard, anyway. I believe that. I believe that you have never given back with your platform. I believe that too. I believe that you built a brand and then watched it fucking crumble to the ground because you couldn't just be honest about the things that you were doing. That sucks. That sucks. How long is it before Berna's abusive? You know, I'm trying to figure it out because you're not going to tolerate him coming to this app and telling the truth about you. You'll find some way to smear him like you did everybody that came before him. So, still the same Jessica Kent, lying in an attempt to preserve her reputation that is already fucking trashed.